My teenage years, I got involved. I took my woundedness, I took my pain, I took all my fear, I took all my shame, and I took it to drugs and alcohol.
I was probably like the craziest one of them all, very deep into drug addiction, and if we were at the parties, I was the crazy one that was doing all the crazy stuff, getting into a lot of trouble. I was down for whatever. I'd do anything, steal anything, I was out there, dude. Way gone.
And what I was doing was I was partying, I was doing drugs for a couple days straight. I was just fed up. I was fed up with the system, with the way things were with friends, with just that whole crowd. I was really into clubbing and drugging and the whole deal. I was still drinking, depressed, man. I was like, man, life stinks right now. I hit rock bottom a couple times by now, and it's so out of it, and I just want to die. I was like, well, I'm disowned from my family. I just was arrested. I'm going to jail. I'm depressed. I'm suicidal. I hate myself. I hate my situation.
I became an addict. I was addicted to OxyContin for about 4 years. And that 4 years destroyed my family life, many relationships.
Well, my father was never around. He wasn't there to discipline me. He wasn't there to, tell me he loved me, hug me, comfort me. So I had this warped image of I don't believe my dad. If he says a promise, it's not true. What he thinks of me is nothing. He's never going to be there for me.
Growing up, I never knew my real father. I knew him before, the first 3 years of my life.
I grew up in a broken home. My father wasn't around. My mother was young, and there were a lot of problems in childhood. Just a lot of separation and so forth. A
lot of abuse in my home with my mother's boyfriends and just relationships that she had been in.
I think it's a very big thing in this generation. Obviously it goes back into the past things too. My dad didn't have a dad, but most of my friends that I grew up with and hung out with, we all basically hung out and fathers were absent, or they were just there but drinking all the time. Never really took time to be a father to the son. You know what I mean? Really just kind of do what you want. Never really lifted them up, never really took that place as what a father is supposed to be.
Just an example of one of the things I saw often were she got her teeth knocked out with a baseball bat in front of us.
I was living in my own world. I was living in a dark world, in a dark realm.
God allowed my own life to break me down to the point where I just came to a place of frustration and disgust with myself that had led me to a place of brokenness and desperation to have a temper tantrum with God. Controlled
by an addiction that I hated. I despised it. I couldn't stand doing the drug that I was addicted to, and to see what it was doing to me and others, and to be so powerless and unable to control, myself, and to do something that I desired to do. I couldn't do it because I was held captive by this drug.
They want a reality. And what you have to understand, what's different about young people today, most of them have not been raised in church.
I grew up in a home that was marginally Buddhist and just Chinese ancestral religion.
I didn't grow up around any spiritual, no church, nothing.
I don't ever remember going to church or hearing about the Lord. I did what I wanted, how I wanted.
I'd never heard of Jesus. I'd never heard the gospel. I never heard of any of it. It wasn't even in my mind. It was the last thing on my mind.
Growing up, I remember going to church once on Easter, but it was just a big joke.
And it's left them hungry, searching, and empty, and they want more. And God can fill that more that they want.
I was tired and fed up. If there wasn't someone or something greater than a person who could help me, then I was done.
People